is your first time here, I am a mixed media artist and I love to teach drawing and mixed media tutorials here on YouTube. Today I want to talk about my mixed media process because I know the biggest challenge that I hear from my students and people that are just in the mixed media art journaling space is they don't understand the order of operations or the order that the materials are supposed to go in, because if you put some things in the wrong order, you can make a really big mess, and I totally get that. So what I've done, because as you can see from the projects behind me, I use like a really systematic way of layering my materials, and I'm consistent with almost all of my mixed media projects. Now that being said, mixed media being mixed media, you can really use anything you want, and I do think there are no rules, but there are certain guidelines that you do need to follow so that you don't make a mess. Like for instance, using oil-based products with acrylic-based products, like they don't match. They don't mix and they don't match. And I have a lot more of this written down in my Mixed Media Magic book, but today I wanted to show you my mixed media process. Think of like a hamburger, and there's 6 layers. So I'm gonna give you a really quick studio tour, show you what I have, and then I'm gonna show you the 6 steps to making a very beautiful project. And if you follow these 6 steps using these same products in the same order, you will be guaranteed mixed media success. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Okay, so here we are in my studio. I have a closet filled with paints and art books, and acrylic paint is definitely something that should be on your mixed media list. Does not matter the brand, does not matter the consistency, you just need some acrylic paint. You also are going to need adhesives. So you have a large number of choices, and I will talk about those in a moment. You also, hi mixed media piece. Oh, there's my mixed media wall of inspiration. Hopefully this is inspiring you, but almost all of these pieces, whether it be a squirrel or a fancy schmancy mermaid, are all made with the same exact process. And then, oh, there's my boyfriend. Hi Jamie. What's up, my friend? And they're all made with the same process, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So even though I have all these products over here, there's actually a very consistent way that you can layer them so that you have instant success. And I've made a little list over here of the 6 steps. Okay, so the first step, we're going bottom to top. As you can see here is the first step, you need an adhesive. And I use matte medium for this step. Always, always, always. I'll talk about that when we go to do a project, which we are going to do right now. The second step is we have our paint layer, and this is always water-based paints and or acrylic paints. Number 3 is where we can come in and we can use our art crayons or our water-soluble pencils. This is anything water-soluble can go in here that works lovely with your paint layers. Anything that's gelatos, that's water-soluble pencils, that's Neocolor 2s work there. There's a lot of products that fall into this category. Then after that, we're going to the adhesive layer. Now, I don't know many artists that stick with this layer, but this is my favorite layer, and I always use matte Mod Podge for this layer. You can use other products, but that's just my go-to. It's cheap, it's widely available, and it works great. Then we have the 5th layer, which is our Pitt Pens Posca Pen art marker layer. So this is when you're layering and doing your detail work in Pitt Pen or in Posca Pen. And then the last layer is another layer of adhesive or sealer. And again, you have many choices. I go to matte Mod Podge again because I already have it out from this layer, and it makes a very nice stackable sandwich. I've done this time and time and time again. I have products that are old that are sitting in 120-degree attic heat, and all of this survives. You do need to pay attention to the brands that you're using. Some brands are light fast, others are not. I have since discontinued using certain brands if they are not high quality. For example, the Tim Holtz Distress crayons, I used to use an equivalent product to the Gelatos, and I use them in the art crayon layer like I was talking about. Okay, those I've discontinued using because they are not light fast. Same and similarly with the sprays, these are not light fast either, which means they fade, and fade they do. So I've discontinued using these as well. A lot of people ask me about using Kopecks, which you know I love Kopecks. I do not use Kopecks in my mixed media work because one, they're not light fast as well, and number two, they're alcohol based, and we only are interested in working with products that are water based or ink. That's it. No oil based, no alcohol based. Does that make sense? Write that down. All right, we're gonna do a project right now. I'm gonna show you exactly how this all looks. All right, we're ready to get this mixed media party started. What was the first layer I said was adhesive and collage. Okay, now you can skip this layer altogether. Should say. This is optional, but a lot of people like to start with collage, myself included, but if you were to skip that later, that's okay. If you just keep in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you will have success. So I like to start off collage because 1, it's relaxing, 2, it's fun, 3, it doesn't take any brain power whatsoever, and 4, it sets the stage for the rest of my piece. It also informs my color scheme. So a lot of times I start with paper. If I'm not sure what colors to use, I just go to my paper, and whatever paper I choose is the colors that are going to be in my piece. So I don't have to think. I say, I don't know what looks good together. Well, look at these people already are telling me what looks good together. They're saying that cream and green and gray and pink are corresponding colors. So I'm going to believe them because they made this super cute tissue paper, and I'm going to use this as my collage layer. So I already mentioned that you have a lot of different adhesive options. Oh, Tuesday morning, they put the sticker right on the part. And you do have a lot of options. It's very overwhelming if you go to the store, and I don't want you to get overwhelmed. So you have all these mediums. You have gels, gloss, medium, and varnish, matte medium. Okay, any medium is made specifically to work with acrylic paints. So you can mix them in, you can use them as collage. They're also adhesives. They change the consistency depending on if they're gloss, and they'll tell you if they're gloss. You can change your paint. If you mix this with paint, it will become glossy. This one you can mix and it will become matte, right? And all of these also have adhesive colors. So they change the paint. If you mix them with the paint, they will change the quality of the paint in some way. They all have an adhesive quality, and you just need to read the back to decide what this is. This says thin, it's very transparent, and it's glossy. Also, you have to read your labels. This one is goes with paint, and some of them also, I should say, they can be a finish or preparation, and sometimes like you'll have it be prep and you cannot use it for a finisher. This is all the way over to matte. This is mostly transparent, and it's fluid, and it's not thick. So you have all these options. Let me just save you a little time. I use matte medium for 99.99% of my projects. So if you're looking for one, don't feel overwhelmed. Just get this one and you'll be fine. So what I do is, I very rarely mix this with my paint. I do, however, all the time. Use it for collage. And when I start collage, I rip off some papers. And again, you can skip this step entirely. So I have this ugly page in my journal. I was using it to demo some things, and I don't care for it. And I want to turn it into a nice page. So when this is all said and done, it's pretty. So you can do this right in your art journals. You can also do this on canvas, or you can do it on watercolor paper, or you can do it on wood, or you can do it on a canvas board. I'm doing it in my art journal because this is a watercolor paper, so it can handle anything. But actually, if you are using like an altered book, you can do this same process in an altered book as well. And actually, part of the reason I like to collage so much is that just by putting on so many layers, you're actually building up the integrity of your paper, especially if it's an old like vintage book, for example. Having the whole layer of collage will help protect it and build it up and help it last. So there's a lot of different reasons why people do the collage stage. If you get wrinkles in your paper, just take your finger and squish them out. It's very straightforward. So yeah, you can shore up old pages. You can cover over pages that don't look so great. it's playtime for me. And again, like I said, it also informs my color scheme. So I don't have to pick my colors. I basically just have my colors picked for me. And look at this, I'm just blobbing it like directly onto my art journal. Like, let's not be precious. This is kindergarten playtime. Oh yeah. When we get onto the second layer, which is going to be the paint layer, again, you can choose any product that you like, any colors that you like. Okay, frequent question that I get all the time is, because I use Mod Podge all the time, they say, why don't you use Mod Podge for this stage? The answer is this. These mediums, including the matte medium that I'm using, are specifically formulated to work like amongst the paint, right? They're made to actually mix in with the acrylic paints. So when I go to put the acrylic layer on, which is step 2, it's like a perfect match made in heaven. They play well together. There's no surprises. There's no weird behaviors that are coming out. And Mod Podge is really a glue and a sealer, and I'm not going to say you can't use it as your first layer, but it has a not quite as matte finish, even though the matte is called matte. It's not. It has a little bit of a sheen to it, which makes it beautiful for the in-between, like the hamburger layer of the sandwich. But it's not awesome for the first one because it has a glossier finish. And it dries to almost like a plastic sheen. And so when you put acrylic on top of it, there's more risk of the acrylic paint to like flick and flake off. It also doesn't like accept pencil very well. You can't really pencil on top of it because it will just like slip off. If that makes sense. So there's quite a few reasons why I don't start off with Mod Podge, but can technically you do it? Yes, you can. I just don't like to. It doesn't play. This is, again, specifically formulated to work with acrylic paints. So I like just working and being like, oh, no worries, I'm good. No surprises, nothing slippery, anything works on top of it. Anything for my next stage 2 is gonna work really great on top of this. Okay, another reason that I have a collage layer is for texture. Texture is something that grew on me. I didn't always love the texture. I didn't quite understand it. I didn't really like the wrinkles in my faces. But then over time, I actually grew to love it. It makes them more sophisticated. It kind of separates like the girls from the women in the art world, right? Not that that matters. And I'm just kind of teasing, but I kind of grew to love it, I guess is the best way to say that. I grew to love it and appreciate it over time. And to be able to run your hand over something and that has interest, it just gives it like another dimension. But I totally get it's not for everyone. I get it. Even collage, like I hated for years because I was like, this is a mess. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what does this mean? And again, what it means for me is actually not so much the visual because we're not even gonna see it almost in the end. But what it does mean is, again, playtime, my colors get picked, and I'm like getting this party started. Plus, it's a heck of a lot more inspiring than this page over here, which is blank and ugly and boring. Also, the bonus of matte medium in these products, which is because they are water-based, soap and water cleanup, so easy. I'm gonna clean this up right now. All right, so I just took my hair dryer and I just dried this, and then I went into my little art closet and I just picked up the colors that would match. I mean, it doesn't really get any easier than that. I decided to do a hot pink instead of a regular pink, but you can do either. You can just, yeah, get it so it's close enough. Oh, I just realized there's some orange in there too. So if I get desperate and I really want another color, I can do orange as well. Now, the fun thing about mixed media is there's like no wrong ways to like apply the paint. So this time I like to use old credit cards. You can pick up these fancy things at art stores. You can use a sponge brush. You can use brayer. This is like disgusting. I don't even wash my materials. This is like still sticky from God knows when, but you can use a brayer. Or you can be boring and apply it with brushes, but I really encourage you to branch out here because it's super, super fun. So yeah, so at this point I put on like, I'm still kind of in play mode. And I usually put things, see how my collage pieces are spread out? I kind of do my whole page the same way. Or I kind of like to think of this as like a frame, like around the piece. It just depends on how neat you want to be and how precise, or if you want a kind of an edgier, messier, dirtier look. I guess that's what I'm going for today. Don't fight it. Just go with your gut. So, and again, this is layer, this is step 2, which is the paint layer, okay? So we have our first layer is adhesive collage. The second layer is the paint layer. And if you don't want this to be a mess, you need to dry between each. You just dry this with a hair dryer, and I keep a hair dryer plugged in all the time, and you dry the layers. Otherwise, you'll mix them while they're wet, and we don't necessarily want this to mix. So I mix green and pink. That actually makes brown because they're opposites on the color wheel. Different lesson for a different day. But so if you just dry your layers between each one, you'll never have to worry about making a mess. Just know that. Okay, so that layer is all dry, and I'm still working in the paint layer. So what's next? I want to outline, I'm kind of happy with this background. Like, I'm kind of ready to rock and roll. So you can do anything you want during the paint layer. You can do stenciling, is very popular and really fun. You can do all sorts of things with different paints to layer this up, but I'm trying to keep this demo sort of a reasonable length. So I'm going to stop right there. I guess I'll put her face like dead center because this is just one page. Boop, boop, boop. I know it's hard to see, but I just need to like kind of know where I'm going. All right, and then we're still in the paint layer. So you need to understand and be friends with gesso. Gesso is your best friend. Think of it as like the primer. Like when you paint your walls in your house, you always start with a primer. It's exactly the same thing. So wherever I'm about to paint something specific, like the subject of my painting, I want to kind of prep the surface. Plus it's like all crazy jazzy going on. So gesso is definitely a paint, so that's why I'm including it in the paint level that we are on right now. Sometimes I don't do like the hair and whatnot because the hair will be, now I know where the face is gonna go, and I'm putting that in my water. And again, I'm still working in my paint layer. I'm just gonna dry this with my hair dryer so I can move on to the paint part. Now I need to do her face, and you can just, you know, Americana, Ceramco, most paint manufacturers have like a skin color. So just pick one. I'm very lazy when it comes to palettes, as you can see. I don't take this stuff very seriously. Well, I do, but not at this point. I serious it up when we get to the fine-tuning phase. Gonna dry this with my hair dryer again. All right, now if you get a little stressed, like, oh, I can't see my lines anymore, you can just take a regular pencil and outline it. We're moving on to the third layer, which is the art crayon pencils layer. This is any water soluble, so you can use pencil on top of, because we're working on top of the acrylic layer now. We can use anything that's water soluble. You guys, we have so many choices. This is where like the mixed media market explodes. You can use anything here. That is, again, anytime you add water and it will like melt, is considered water soluble. So that's like these Neocolor 2s you can use these art crayons, which are equivalent to, oh, where'd my gelatos go? Grab a gelato. That's in a whole separate bin. I'll show you that in a second. These are Stabilos. Okay, Tombow markers. You can use watercolor pencils. Let's see. First, I need to draw back in her features, and I can use any of these to do that as well. Just know that if you choose a water-soluble material at this point, when you put on our next layer, which is another adhesive layer, that will run, because any liquid that touches it, like I just demoed for you, will make it run. So if you don't want it to move, just pick like a pencil. I hope that helps. And I always do my guidelines. Maybe I'll leave my guidelines in. That would be actually really cool. to get like kind of super artsy fartsy today. Again, this kind of how to draw faces is a different ball game, which we're not covering today. This is like a very different, I'm in the middle, actually I'm not in the middle, I'm right at the end of publishing my next art book, which is all about finding your style. So I've been editing it today, so I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of inspiring myself to try different things. I'm doing the part right now. So the name of the book is called How to Draw and Find Your Style. I know, super creative, I know. I actually labored over that. That title for so long, actually. So today I was talking about like all the different kind of line weights and shading options, and like you can do you can do cross hatching, and it just goes on and on. Don't even get me started. Okay, so we have this on top of, this is our art crayon pencil layer, and this is a great way to do shading is with these, because you can put these on instead of painting. So painting and blending your paint colors, well, and this actually, I'm using these Blackwing fancy pencils, which actually are kind of water soluble, which I normally don't use these at this point. But you see how easily this is blending with just my finger? So it's kind of it's mushing with the graphite that's down there. It's actually mushing like crazy. But all I have to do is use your finger to create this blending, which is so much easier than blending with paint. Trust me on this. And I like to do that, but as a teacher, and if you're like a beginner mixed media student, doing the blendy part with your finger is like a dream. So yeah, how fun is that? And how easy is that? We're gonna give her dramatic shading on this side. You can even go darker by just going down in the shade value, going deeper. So under the neck is usually shaded, but oh my God, look at that, you don't even need a paintbrush. Come on. It's so cool. Maybe we'll give her like cheeks. This would be cool, give her a pink. I have a lot of colors of these. I'm just being lazy because it's across the room. And again, I really just wanted to show you this more as like a demo than anything else. Now we're here. How awesome is that? It's so fast and it's like butter. I hope it's okay that I'm getting that enthused, but I think this is why I repeat this process over and over. This process right here, right now, never gets boring or old to me. I think it's fun and exhilarating every single time. So under her lips, so I'm making the shading more dramatic on the right side of her face than the left side of her face. So just so you know, shading appears at the hairline, around the eye. We can give her a little bit here. Of course that, and again, that graphite is like giving me a big shading boost as well. Under the nose, on the nose evidently, under the mouth and under the neck. And then again, you can put these lines back in again if you keep losing them. Just pop them in again. Right now I'm definitely losing her eye over here. But she's coming to life. Now I also forgot about her hair. So while we're still on the, well actually that's a good point. Since we're, the art crayon layer and the paint layer, you can go back and forth with, as long as you're working in this part of the sandwich. Between the adhesive layers, we can go back and forth between here. So once you've done this adhesive layer, you're locked out of this part. You have to move forward. So if you want to keep working in here for a while, you can, but this locks in all of this, everything under it. So you have only these 2 steps left. Okay, so let's put some paint on for her hair. All right, and I promised to show you gelatos. These are gelatos. These are available really widely, and they come in some awesome skin tones as well as some other fun colors. And those are completely compatible. These are compatible with all this, these same water-soluble products like the Stabilos and these art crayons and the Tombos. Anything water-soluble you guys can play around with interchangeably. I'm gonna use this same hot pink to color in her lips. Just again repeating the same colors that are in the rest of the project. And so all the refining bits are all done after this layer and after the next adhesive layer. So you get all the painting out of the way, and it's really just like a base coat for me. And again, this is very unique to my stuff. I don't even know anymore what other people are doing. I've gone down this rabbit hole of mixed media of my own style for years now, and I'm not coming out. So I've just kind of committed to teaching others the way that I do it. And instead of fighting it and asking myself, what is everyone else doing? I just decided, well, I don't know, but this is what I'm doing. So you're welcome to join in the fun. Oh, you can't even see it. I'm going to use a paint pen. That'll get it, shock it into some submission. See, this is why I have to do my paint pen layer. I can't wait to get there. It's my favorite part. All right, remember I said, once you hit this 4th layer, adhesive layer, you can't go back. So you have to make sure that if you're ready to move on. Then I just saw this really cool gelato color that I've never even opened before. So I really quick might just have to chuck some green in her hair just to see what it looks like. Oh yes, super duper awesome is what it looks like. So again, feel free to have a blast on this, playing on this layer. Oh, nice. And you can blend that with your finger or not. Done. All right, let's move on to layer number 4, which is adhesive layer. So we're locking down everything. This locks down everything, and then we're left with that. Okay, because what we have going on, we have all these layers. We have things that are gonna move around. We have the layers of paint. We have the collage underneath. We have matte, medium. We need to like lock it down so we can finish it up on top. So this is where I reach for my matte Mod Podge. You can use other varnishy layers here, but I don't like it because they take too long to dry. I can put the layer of Mod Podge on here, dry it with my hair dryer in like 2 minutes, and move on with my life. Let's show you. All right, just big word of warning here. There are products like that are super duper duper water soluble in this art crayon layer that will go bananas if you put liquid onto them, like Stabilo, which is like my favorite black version of these. They go nuts when you do this layer, so you have to be super conscious of that. I don't have anything in here that's super crazy, so I feel like I'm okay to do what I'm about to do. Okay, so it will blend everything amazingly well. So this is matte Mod Podge, and I might have put way too much on, just saying, but I just wanted you to do it in a way that you know you don't need to be afraid of it. But this is locking down all of the layers underneath it. So if you have black Stabilo going on, you have to be much more careful about putting this over her face because it will streak it everywhere. And I have like way too much. What do I wipe it off on? This old towel. Just seals it a ton, that's all. Now if I just hit this with my hair dryer, it like crazily dries, like so fast, like 2 minutes. Right, and everything is all locked up tight under there and I feel better already. Right, I'm gonna get my hair dryer so we can move on to layer number 5. Okay, super excited. We are totally almost finishing. So we're on my favorite layer of all time. We've done this 1, 2, 3, 4. We're now at the Pitt Pens marker part of the Hamburger art sandwich. All right, now can you go and paint on here if you need to? Yes, you can. So don't feel like really, truly locked out. You can paint on top of Mod Podge. It's not the end of the world. Again, it just has, see the sheen? It's like plastic, so I'm afraid it's gonna like flick off because that's such a plasticky layer. However, the beautiful thing of this plasticky layer is that markers work like a dream on top of it. You have 2 choices. You can do paint pens, and like Sharpie is a big manufacturer, but make sure it's the water-based and not the oil-based. You want water-based, the blue-tipped Sharpies, or Posca paint pens, which come in a ton of different nibs and a ton of different colors. All right, so anything like that is fine. Those work okay. What works way better than okay are Pitt pens, which come in a ton of colors. And I've been collecting these over time. I've been using these for years, and I've only ever had to replace like my white and my skin color, and like they last forever. They are filled with a beautiful, gorgeous, totally archival, permanent ink-based ink that is waterproof. It's like acid-free. It's a miracle. And it works great on top of this shiny Mod Podge surface. So I do all my details in this. You can use it 2 ways. One, because of this shiny Mod Podge surface, you can, if you don't wait, you can use it to do a ton of more shading, because there's like a little window where it stays wet, so you can use your fingers just like we did with the Gelato art crayon layer. You can do a whole bunch of shading during this step if you want to. So hello, how nice is that? Again, no paintbrush, no fuss, just easy breezy shading. Another amazing thing is that if you screw up and make a mistake, all you have to do is take like a wet paper towel, and this will just wipe off. I just licked my finger. I know that's gross. I just don't have any paper towels, but I had to show you how easy that comes off. It's crazy. And then if you want something more permanent, all you have to do is like not wipe it off. I'm trying to find a green that would look cool in her hair. So you just let it sit, and then it won't move. Okay, so look how fun this is, you guys. This is just like, well, for me, this is where my drawing and my painting like are friends with each other. Whee! And I have a ton of like hair tutorials and stuff like that on YouTube. But if you want to smear these out, you can, or you can just don't mess with them and then they'll just dry. Okay, so it's like totally up to you what way you want to go. And you have about like a 20-second window where you can decide if you want it to stay there or if you don't. So fun. So fun. This like never, ever gets old to me, ever. That's why I just gave up and I'm like, you know what? This is just what I'm going to do. And this is just what I'm going to teach. So yeah. So fun. All right. I'm looking for black. That's what all this rummaging is. And this is just how I do all the details, is with black. So you can like, some people are outliners and some are not outliners. I'm definitely an outliner. And you can, depending on the nib, like, and my brush strokes here are very like loose. So it depends on the nib that you choose. This one has like a brush tip, but some of them are like, have a tip that doesn't move, so it'll make a different kind of a brush stroke. So it just depends on which one you grab. Sorry, groob. Groob's not really a word. Last time I checked. Groob. All right, so I'll do this one kind of quick because this is getting to be a very lengthy video. But like, you can just do that and then just leave it. Now let's, and sometimes if this is wet for a while and you want to freeze it, I will actually take my hair dryer and dry it. You could also, and I will do this in a minute, you can actually put another layer of Mod Podge on there too. Don't move. Kind of outlining everything, and this might be a good one for like eyelashes. I don't know, you can even hear the like squeaking. It's like squeak, squeak, squeak. That's how slippery. And that's the matte too. This is matte Mod Podge. Remember, it's not, there is a glossy version and you can use that as well. Eek, so fun. All right, so the white is actually really decent for the pit pins as well. So you can put some highlights like, oh, that was her whole eyeball. I'm gonna have to put that back. It does not look good. So I'm putting some highlights around. I'm just kind of doing this quick because I wanna wrap this up like this year. Longest real-time video ever. I try to keep these longer ones to my paid students, but that's fine. Once in a while you gotta give my YouTube peeps some free love, you know what I'm saying? All right, and then we gotta put back the black of the eye that I just took out. Oh yes, sister. That's what I'm talking about. Whoa. Yowzers, what is happening? My hand like did its own crazy thing there, but now we're committed, so we're in it now. You're in it to win it. And the eyelashes, holy bajoli. Sometimes you just gotta do it, you know what I'm saying? Woo! She's like, I don't even know, 1980s something. Thicken up the top lash. You go, girl. That's all I have to say. I told you I talk to my girls. It's like a legit problem. Okay. Whew. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? Oh, she reminds me of like a 1980s, I don't know, glamour girl, Charlie's Angel. I'm committed now. We are in it to win it. Oh yeah, we'll give her like the bangs that go with. You never know who's gonna show up on these pages, I'm telling you. So yeah, so that's the whole process. And then, oh my God, that's hilarious. So then, you know, if you want to go add any little last minute things, you certainly can. Is this the green of her hair? We could add some green in the background, because remember, everything under there is locked and loaded. So if you wanted to add a little paint, if you wanted to introduce some paint on top of here, like for the background, again, you really can do that. I'm just making this cut short for time. And then the last layer is Adhesive Sealer again. So when everything is locked in place, I'm gonna do another layer of Mod Podge on top, and that will seal in all the marker layers on top. And then the very last layer, and I never talk about this, it's super important and I need to, is spraying this with a sealer so that your journal pages don't stick together. Let me go grab the can, I'll show you exactly what I use. All right, so I use this. This is Americana, it's the Sealer Finisher. And I just take it outside and I just spray the whole page down. It's very stinky, but it's fine. And then like this is a full spread, but like I can, you know, I can close my book and it doesn't stick. So how nice is that? So that's the whole entire process. So that is the hamburger sandwich layering system that I use on almost, well, pretty much all of my mixed media projects. So yeah, if you have questions, please pop them in the comment section. I am totally available. I get an email every time somebody comments, so that's totally fine. I know there's like a lot going on, but that really is everything I have to offer. And if you're interested, I have like hours and hours and hours of lessons in amazing projects. Animals, whimsical animals, a ton of girls. Oh my gosh, like a lot of everything in my Mixed Media Society, which is my membership group for mixed media. Crazy people like myself over at awesomeartschool.com. But other than that, I of course will see you every single Friday for a free tutorial here on YouTube. And here's a playlist of my top favorite 10 girls. And now that you understand the whole process, you can start identifying exactly what I'm doing and when and why, and now you know. Enjoy.